What's up everybody, this is Goose, and this is Dark Souls 3. I'm making this guide about 7 years late, with the real purpose to help players who got pulled in by Elden Ring. I know that there are plenty of other guides out there, but this one is really focused on the players who are bringing their understanding from Elden Ring and are looking for that fresh experience from this previous title. Now, just a disclaimer, I'm not the best of players, but I've played the game a few times and I think I kind of know what's going on. So who knows, maybe you were discouraged or intimidated when the game came out, but now after playing Elden Ring, you're willing to give it a try. With that in mind, we're going to go ahead and we're going to dive right in. So I've started here on the character creation screen. And I really have very little to say about character creation. There's not a lot that you could do wrong here. I'm going to go ahead and choose the Knight class. I think it starts me off with the best stats and a pretty decent armor set that I'm going to use for most of the game. But you can go ahead and start off with whatever class you want. The only thing that I recommend from this character creation is the burial gift. I highly recommend that you get that fire gem as your burial gift. All of the other burial gifts really have no longevity in this game. You'll get the more bang for your buck basically if you get this fire gem, because a lot of enemies at the early stages of the game, they're very weak to fire, or they stagger, or they have like a special animations when you use fire on them, and you'll definitely get more benefit from choosing the fire gem. So let's go ahead and finalize this, and we'll get started. So right off the bat, we're starting out this experience waking from our own grave. And the only thing we know is that we are not meant to be the protagonist in this story. The intro kind of tells us that we are unfit even to be kindled. Yet here we are, so let's figure this out. Now, before we begin this journey, I want to let you guys know a few basic differences in Dark Souls than in Elden Ring. The first and foremost thing is that there are no jumping attacks, so you can't really jump in this game. The only way to jump is if you are running. If you are running, you can jump, but as you're jumping, you can't attack, so you can't commence a battle by jumping and attacking like you do in Elden Ring. So what I've done is I've moved around a few of the controls in the settings. If you go over to key bindings, you'll see that I've made it so that it resembles more of the controller scheme from Elden Ring. The thing that I moved was I changed the jump button to the A button. And remember, this jump you can only do while you're running. You can't jump if you're standing still. The other things that I've changed is the interact button. I've changed it to Y, which is what is used when you're playing Elden Ring, and really it just feels second nature when you change it to Y. And also I've changed the two-handed the two-handed button to be the left click. Now this isn't necessarily good or bad, it just feels right to me, and it's I think that's my best settings for this game. Now you're welcome to leave it as is, as the game intended, or you're welcome to change it however you like, but I'm going to be using this controller scheme which resembles Elden Ring. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to see what's up ahead. Now you'll see that the developers left messages on the ground similar to Elden Ring, and you'll notice them all around. Also, player messages. I'm going to be playing this mostly offline, so we're not going to be seeing any player messages. But you might see a lot of player messages and hints everywhere in the game. Just note that you probably won't see them in this playthrough. Alright? So, one of the first things that I recommend is getting a shield. A shield is pretty handy in this game. It helps you survive a lot of attacks, and a lot of enemies will actually stagger when they try to attack you, making it for an easy kill, just like that. Other thing is backstabs. Backstabs are still a thing in this game, and you're gonna try to use them to full advantage in this game. All you have to do is walk up right behind an enemy and press your light attack, and it'll do an attack like that. And this can be done in middle of a combat too. See how that guy was still attacking me? I just walked up right behind him as he was attacking, and I did a... I was trying to do to that guy too, but I couldn't. But you could do it in combat as well. You don't have to stagger them or anything like that. It will still do the animation. Alright. Now, from this tutorial area, the hardest thing that you're going to fight is this crystal lizard here. And you don't have to fight it now, but I recommend that you do. Killing this crystal lizard gives you 4,000 souls, which is a pretty hefty amount for starting out. So I would recommend fighting it. If you know what you're doing, he's not too bad. All you have to do is either block his attacks or roll around him. You can't backstab this guy, but he staggers after you do enough damage, and then you could run right in front of him and get a riposte. Now, with that being said, his attacks are pretty telegraphed, and most of the time you won't have any trouble. I hope I don't die. Just take your time with him. You're gonna be pretty weak and doing terrible damage to him, but like I said, he telegraphs his attacks pretty good. Well, there's that stagger, and there's that riposte. Take your time with him, like I said, and he should be a piece of cake. Don't get too greedy. Really watch out for your stamina here, because you're starting off and you don't have a lot of stamina. You don't want to run out of stamina mid-attack. There's the second stagger, and he's done. Easy peasy. Alright, so most of the crystal lizards are going to give you upgrade materials or things that you need. The Titanite scale is one of 3 main type of upgrade materials. The Titanite scale actually upgrades boss weapons, which you get from killing bosses, and then going to a vendor, and then they give you a boss weapon off of the souls that you collected from them. There's also another type of material called Twinkling Titanite, which mostly upgrades unique weapons that are not boss weapons. And for common weapons, you mostly be getting Titanite shards, and we'll be seeing one of those Titanite shards up ahead, which we will use. Like I said, he gave us a hefty amount of points, 4,000, and that's actually not too bad for starting off. Once we get back to this area, we're gonna hit our first bonfire. This bonfire are actually our checkpoints, and the checkpoints work exactly the same way as in Elden Ring, except for you cannot upgrade your level or your weapons, but other than that, they're basically the same thing. You rest at them and they refill your Estus shards and your health and everything. So there you go. I just rested. I got my first gesture just by resting. And usually I skip this entire part and go right to the boss. But since I'm doing this walkthrough, I'll show you everything that there is around here. The boss is actually just over there. You just have to cross that archway, and he is waiting inside of that area. But for right now, we're gonna go around and collect everything. Gonna go ahead and just run light attack there. And there's an item here which you have to jump to. So we're gonna do a run and jump. Get to this area. There's our first Titanite shard, so we can upgrade our sword. And we're gonna do a plunge attack on this guy. Now from here, you could go straight in and start fighting the boss. That's him right there. But we're gonna go ahead and collect some things just for this tutorial. Down here is a pretty useful item on that boss, just in case you want to use it on him. There are some bombs, and the boss has two stages. On the second stage, he transforms and is actually weak to fire. So throwing that bomb might be useful if you're having trouble with him. We're gonna go ahead and just plunge this guy, and we'll kill this guy real quick. There you go, using my shield, making everything easy. The bonfire is up here there, that's where we came from. We're just gonna head down over to this area. We'll kill this guy first. Kill these guys. I kind of try to kill everybody at least once. That way you get more souls quicker. But you don't have to kill those guys. They're not necessary. So this is the first boss. This is a tutorial boss. Really, he's not that hard. The battle won't start until you pull that sword out of his chest. And as soon as you pull the sword out, you could start damaging him. His health won't appear right away, but you could start damaging him as soon as it pulls out. And really all you want to do is stay right behind this guy. He telegraphs his moves a lot. Use your shield and stay behind him. Right before you get to half health, he'll transform, and you want to kind of use that time to also do full damage on him. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. So right away you could start damaging him. And like I said, just stay kind of behind him. Use your shield. There's that second stage. And for this second stage, I like to stay on the right side of his hand, and you'll dodge most of his attacks just by staying back there. Ouch. If you need health, you could just back away. Just know that he has a long range. Stay to his right. Ouch. And you'll be fine. Boom. That's it. Easy peasy. So we got the coiled sword. We're gonna use that later on. We're gonna go ahead and light this bonfire, get all of our Estus flasks back, and we're gonna be on our merry way. Now we're going up to the Firelink shrine, which is that shrine up ahead, that's really the central hub of this game. Every time you need a level up or upgrade your weapons, it's going to be up in there. Now, I chose the Knight class because I'm going to be kind of focusing on strength in the beginning, and really the armor is actually pretty nice. I use it for most of the game, and really you could use it all the way to the end game if you really wanted to. It's actually pretty nice looking armor. I like the way it looks as well. It's not too bad. I'm gonna try to collect all the weapons and all of the items so that you could get 100% in this walkthrough. But some items, I have to say, the game makes you play the game at least twice to get all the rings and all of the spells. And if you want to get, I think it's a secret achievement of getting this sword, this end game sword, you have to play the game at least 3 times. Now, this game is not open world, so the FromSoft team, they kind of guide you towards their traps. Like if you see up ahead, those guys in the bushes, normally you would go right up to them and start attacking them, and that would set off the guys that are farther up ahead that you probably didn't notice, and they would start shooting you from range. And really, this game can be kind of cruel sometimes because you fall into the direction of the team, and they kind of want you to fall for their traps. But you could kind of circumvent everything if you know what you're doing. So we'll go around, we'll kill these guys before they wake up, and now we could kill these guys pretty easily, just like that. So just keep that in mind as you're playing through the game, that because it's not an open world, this game can sometimes be kind of cruel because there's like a set path that you have to go through. Now up ahead, there's a NPC that you can fight, and if you need a weapon, like a better weapon, he'll give you the Ujigitana, which is actually a decent weapon to start off with. But I'm not going to fight him right now. We'll fight him later on. I kind of don't really need that weapon. I think the starting gear that we start off with with the Knight class is not too bad. So we're going around in here, picking up an ember. There's another item right behind this tomb. And then we're going to go down this area. Now, dogs can be kind of tricky in this game, but if you have a shield, you could just block them and they'll stagger. But this dog, you could just kind of sneak up and poke him in the butt. So we're gonna go into the shrine now. I think we've got all the items outside in this area, and this is it. This is Firelink Shrine. It's actually quite a beautiful place. FromSoft really did excellent on all the visuals in this game. It looks absolutely amazing even 7 years later. But before we go down and talk to the NPCs, we're gonna go up here to this location. And this location is actually where you get a pretty important ring. It's called the Silver Serpent ring, and by equipping it you get more souls per kill, and that's actually very beneficial to us in the beginning of the game. And you have to use kind of like an exploit. I wouldn't really call it an exploit. I'm pretty sure From Software left this in the game on purpose so that if you know kind of what you're doing, you can get the ring early. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run up this tree, and right as we get to the top, we're gonna jump and change our controller to the right, and we're gonna land on this ledge. And if we could do that, we can access the ring pretty quickly. Otherwise, you would have to buy a key that lets you open this gate, and you could go up all the way to the top of Firelink Shrine. But that key is kind of expensive for us right now. It's 20,000 souls, and we could really use those souls for leveling up instead. Later on, you will have to buy that key, but for now, we're just gonna try and get up here. Oh, look at that. I got here first try. It might take you a few times, but it's actually not too hard. Just keep trying it. The gift that you get once you make it up here is definitely worth it. So before I go in here, we're gonna go all the way around. There's the dude that has the Ujigatana. We're not gonna fight him yet though. We're gonna go around here, and we're gonna get a crystal lizard that drops some twinkling titanite. Now these guys, they disappear if you take too long to kill it. So if you do a running heavy attack, you will flip it over and they'll be easier to get. Just like that. We got a twinkling titanite, and like I said, that upgrades unique weapons that are not boss weapons. Okay, so now we could go inside of Firelink on the roofs, on the rafters. And we're gonna meet an NPC that is present in all Dark Souls games, and it helps you trade items. So this guy right here, he's a crow. You never see him, but he has a nest, and you could trade items with him. Like I'm gonna demonstrate by trading 2 items that I know that he wants, and you do that by going into your inventory, going to the item that you're gonna trade with him. Like for instance, this homeward bone, and you hit leave. You leave it on the ground, and he will react. If he likes your gift, because sometimes he doesn't like your gift, he'll trade you something for it. Like right now, I got the call over gesture and some iron bracelets, which are actually not so bad in stats if you look at them. Something else that he probably wants is this chime that I got. It was a random drop from one of the enemies. I know that he likes this, so we're gonna drop this, and he will give us a help me carving. And ooh, thank goodness I didn't fall. We're gonna go over here and we're gonna collect an Estus shard. These Estus shards help us to upgrade our Estus flask, which is what we use to regain health. And the only way to upgrade your flask is to talk to the blacksmith. So we're gonna talk to him in a little while here. You saw me hit that illusionary wall here, which there is a lot of illusionary walls in Dark Souls 3, and we're gonna get to all of them. And we jump down to this area, and this is where the ring is. We can go ahead and equip that ring right away. And you'll notice that you have all the ring slots unlocked, unlike in Elden Ring where you only have 1 slot. The rings are a little harder to come by, but you'll be able to equip 4 rings right away as soon as you get them. And we'll go ahead and equip that and be on our way. So now we could go ahead and start talking to our NPCs. We'll go left first, and we'll talk to this guy here.
Another one roused from the sleep of death. Well, you're not alone. We unkindled are worthless. Can't even die right. Gives me conniptions. And they'd have us seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. But we're talking true legends, with the metal to link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots. Don't you think? What a sick joke. Asking us to seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. We're talking true legends, those who would link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots.
So, I'm not going to go too in depth in the lore in this video. I'm going to let you find that out on your own. But I'm definitely going to let you see me talk to all the NPCs. Sometimes they'll give you things, they'll give you the achievement points that we need. Like, for instance, this guy gave me a gesture. And we're going to need all the gestures if you want to get the achievement for it. So, with that being said, we're going to continue talking to all the other NPCs.
Welcome to the bonfire, unkindled one. I am a firekeeper. I tend to the flame and tend to thee. The lords have left their thrones and must be delivered to them. To this end, I am at thy side. Ashen One, to be unkindled is to be a vessel for souls. Sovereignless souls will become thy strength. I will show thee how. Ashen One, bring me souls plucked from their vessels.
So this NPC is the Firekeeper. She's kind of like our Millennia. She helps us level up, and she's kind of our guide through the entire game. And she gives us our first task. Our first task is to bring all of the Lords of Cinder, which is the people that are supposed to be sitting on this throne, and bring them back to this area so that we could relink the fire. And like I said, we were not meant for this job, but because of desperation and because these guys abandoned their thrones, we are stepping into the fray, and we're trying to recover all of these missing lords. And you'll notice I walked up to this guy. This guy seems like kind of a weakling, but he's sitting on a throne, so let's go ahead and talk to him.
O thou unkindled, and a seeker of lords. I am Ludleth of Corland. Look not in bewilderment as I say. I linked the fire long ago, becoming the Lord of Cinder. If substantiation be thy want, set thine eyes upon my charred corpse. This sad cadaver, no need to be coy. Have a closer look. Knowest thou of our purpose? 5 thrones will take 5 lords as kindling for the linking of the fire. The fast fading flame must be linked to preserve this world. A reenactment of the first linking of the fire. So it is, I became a Lord of Cinder. I may be but small, but I will die a Colossus. Knowest thou the age?
So this guy is going to be very helpful for us later on. He's the guy that turns our boss souls into boss weapons. But before he could do that, excuse me. Before he could do that, he needs something called the transposing kiln, which we won't get until later on. For now, we are going to go ahead and just... Sorry, little guy. We're gonna go ahead and kill him. The only reason we're killing him is because I want to pick up this item. It's called the Skull Ring. And what it does, it makes enemies aggro to you faster. Which is not necessarily a good ring, but like I said, we're doing this for a 100% walkthrough. So we kind of need it. Don't worry about this guy though, he revives as soon as you rest at the bonfire. We're gonna go ahead and continue our journey here. This lady here, she's our main merchant. There's also a secondary merchant, which is pretty important to the game. But this lady, she is the main one.
A pleasure to make thine acquaintance, Ashen One. I am but a humble handmaid of the shrine. Weapons, armor, trinkets, and spells. I've lots of little things to ease the burden of a weary traveler. And yes, I'm undead too, but not so charitable as to give my goods away. Ashen One, fetch souls and bring them to me. As is thy wont? No?
So I know I'm kind of throwing you right into the story. So just to put things into perspective, the main story of the game is to relight the fire. And basically, humans have this curse that makes us undead. It's called the Dark Soul. And by being undead, I mean, it could be a good thing because every time you die, you wake up and you could live all over again. But it's kind of like the Lazarus pit in Batman. Every time you come back, you lose a part of yourself, and eventually you just become this zombie creature, and you don't have a will of your own. So it's not a good thing in the long run. So what people did is they light what they called the fire. They light this fire. We'll show it to you later on, and it breaks the curse temporarily until eventually the fire starts to fade again, and somebody else needs to light the fire again. So in order to get there, we need to get the 5 lords, and we'll be able to get to the location where we can light the fire. So I just wanted to say that because I know some of you guys might be going like, what the heck is going on? So this is our blacksmith. He's pretty important. He helps us upgrade our weapons and helps us upgrade our Estus flask, which we will do right now with that fire gem that you should have chosen as your burial gift. And
well, a newcomer, I see. I am Andre. I serve at this shrine as a humble smith, forging weapons. You're in search of the Lords of Cinder, I trust. A toilsome journey, I'd wager. You'll require good arms. Let me smith you weapons. I am a smith. Such is my purpose. So
basically there's 2 forms of upgrades. One is to reinforce a weapon with Titanite shards, and that gives us +1, +2, +3 weapons. Or you can infuse a weapon and change, given an elemental attack. And since we got that fire gem, we're gonna infuse our longsword, and that'll help us out later on. We can't quite upgrade our weapon. We still need a Titanite shard, but we'll get to that later. So we're gonna use the rest of our souls to
Prithee, be careful.
get
I don't want to see my work squandered.
more levels. We could talk to this guy again, and he'll give us, eventually he'll give us another gesture.
To see ye in good health. What needs smithing this day?
And also here it is, you can reinforce your flask.
Weapons and protection are sturdy enough by and large, but when overused, they'll eventually break. When their durability is low, repair becomes a necessity. Use a powder, or simply rest at a bonfire. But should chance impel them break, bring them me. I'll hammer them back into shape. They take no pleasure in breaking, I assure ye. So handle them with care, if you would. There are 2 ways to smith weapons. Simple reinforcement is one, and infusion the other. Reinforcement is straightforward. It strengthens a weapon without altering its property. Infusion is a more advanced form of smithing that infuses an element. Reinforcement requires titanite, and infusion requires gems. Bring the stones, and I'll do the smithing. It's my purpose, after all. In battle, your weapons are your only friends. Forge them well, and they won't let you down.
And there is our gesture that we needed. We can go ahead and leave now. Now, in order to get to the next area, we have to use that coiled sword that we got from that boss. We just lay that down right here, and we'll be able to navigate to any point in the map from this location. And with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this tutorial for now. This is just the very first area. The next area will be the Wall of Lothric, and we will see you again next time.